Okay. Well, first and foremost, thank you all for joining us this morning. We're really excited about what we're going to be showing you, and we hope that you're going to find some value in it. My name is Ned Blom. I am with Missouri Enterprise. Missouri Enterprise is, in fact, your go-to resource for all things manufacturing. I see some familiar faces on here, and I see some that I'm not aware of. So for those of you who might not be aware of Missouri Enterprise, I'd like to spend literally 1 minute, if not less, on who we are, why we're here, what we're about, those types of things. So for those of you who are not aware of Missouri Enterprise, we are a fee-based, not-for-profit organization that works primarily with small to medium-sized manufacturers. We are a NIST MEP solution here for St. Louis, for the Missouri, state of Missouri. And for those of you who are not aware of what NIST MEP is, it's kind of alphabet soup, but NIST stands for the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and MEP is the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. And these are all groups that are put together through Congress to work in all 50 states, even in Puerto Rico. And the reason why we are here, Missouri Enterprise, very simple, is to help manufacturers succeed. Again, we work all over the state. We also work with our sister companies and sister relationships in all 49 other different states as well. So we do, in fact, have a coast-to-coast coverage. What are we here to help with, and how do we do things? We work in all different areas that manufacturers seem to have needs for. We cover, not exclusively, but we do cover continuous improvement efforts, workforce supply chain, food safety, cybersecurity. We even get into some of the cybersecurity initiatives that are pretty specific in like Department of Defense or aerospace environments. We assist organizations with quality systems in projects and business development, just to name a few things. How do we do these types of things? Is we actually have project managers who have been with Missouri Enterprise, I don't even want to say how many years, but we have very proven project managers, and they actually work side by side with the organizations that we partner with, both on the shop floor as well as up in the boardroom. So we have the hands-on knowledge to get dirty as well as to work with C-level organizations. And while it's true that Made in America is always a great thing, it's a good, important phrase, slogan, whatever you wish to call it. My phrase is, as much as I like Made in America, I think that Made in Missouri is even better. And so that's what this is all about, to help grow revenue and help manufacturers here in Missouri. So without further ado, let's take a look at what we all came here for in the first place. And let's learn about this CONNEX Missouri. Jeff, I'm going to toss it back over to you, and you have the ball. Can't hear you.
Great, thank you, Ned. Appreciate everybody joining us here today. Thank you for that introduction. And let's get started on CONNEX. My name is Jeff Wilkens, and I am a supply chain manager, program manager here for Missouri Enterprise. I help to administer the Missouri CONNEX platform, and I assist Missouri manufacturers for enrolling, updating their profile, working on capability statements, and utilizing the CONNEX platform. So anything you have questions about, you can ask your ABM, your area business manager at Missouri Enterprise, or you can simply come to me or go to our website and find information on how to get a hold of us, and we can help you with that. So I'm here to help manufacturers improve their domestic supply chain. I have over 12 years experience in database and information technology experience, and I've also worked for Rankin Technical College, so I understand manufacturers' needs for workforce development and things like that. Also with us today is Ray McCarty. Ray's organization, Associated Industries of Missouri, is assisting us with the CONNEX program, the platform, and helping us partner and get this out to manufacturers. Ray works to benefit Missouri employers through legislative action at the Missouri Capitol to works to influence issues at the federal level through the direct contact and affiliation with NAM, the National Association of Manufacturers. And also joining us is Alan Davis, and several others. His staff are online too, so they have support here. Alan's going to spend most of the time today talking about the CONNEX platform and presenting about the CONNEX platform. He's a founding member, president, and CEO of I5 Services and CONNEX platform. Alan's goal is of changing industry through creative technical solutions to complex business problems. His background is in technology, and he has years of experience in leadership, transformation, process improvement, business IT alignment, and which has helped him excel in implementing the solutions that bring about disruptive improvement, which CONNEX is definitely is in line in helping us improve our supply chain. So very, very happy to have everybody on board today and go through that and help us bring this to you, you as manufacturers. So I'm going to turn it over to Ray real quick, and he's going to just talk a little bit about the kind of where CONNEX started and why we're here today.
Sure, and thanks very much. I hope I'm off mute. And this selfless promotion behind me, Associated Industries in Missouri has been the representative of manufacturers since 1919 in the state of Missouri. So we have a really long history. About 10 years ago or so, Harold Zinn from Missouri Enterprise and I had a conversation about whether it was possible to set up some kind of supplier network. And that, we talked about it for a couple of years before we learned that I5 had actually done this already in the state of Utah. And we're involved with an association of state manufacturing associations. They had a meeting, and the state of Utah was presenting their new program, which was connecting Utah suppliers with Utah manufacturers. And I5 set that supplier network up. They did such a good job with that all the other states that had been crying for some kind of supplier network decided that was the system that we needed to use. And then the question was how to do it. And I won't bore you with all the starts and stops that we had along the way, but we at various points we've done different solutions. I think now we are at the point where we really have a good, robust system. And the CONNEX system is the way it works. It will help, and you'll hear from Alan about the specifics. But what it does is help Missouri manufacturers find Missouri suppliers. And then there's a connection to a national network that we have that you can opt into. And that allows you to deal with American manufacturers and suppliers. So both chicken and egg, both suppliers and manufacturers benefit from this system. We think it's wonderful. Anytime we can do business with ourselves, we want to do that. There are obvious benefits in terms of having your supplier closer to you in terms of transportation. Things like COVID, the shortages that we're seeing in other countries. If we were making those things here, maybe we wouldn't be seeing those same types of shortages. So that's our involvement. We have a very strong partnership with Missouri Enterprise, and so we're helping bring the manufacturers to the table. Frankly, it's been very difficult to get this off the ground, and we finally are at the point where we feel very good about recommending this to all of our manufacturers, and we hope everyone will take advantage of it and that our suppliers to those manufacturers will benefit from it as well. I'm going to stop with that. I'll be around for questions if there are any later.
Great, thank you, Ray. I'm going to turn it over to Alan later, but I want to do a small introduction about our CONNEX with here in Missouri. But I do want to go to Alan right now and just see if he wants to add anything currently about what's been said so far.
No, great introduction, gentlemen, and thank you so much for having me come and be a part of this with you. I'm so excited for Missouri. These systems, as we launch them in the various states, are having a tremendous impact for manufacturers. Direct connection to business opportunities. It's really helping to lift the entire ecosystem, which was the intent when we started this all along. Our goal is really to have a U.S. manufacturing supply chain connection solution that will serve the entire industry and lift the entire manufacturing ecosystem, starting and specifically state by state. So again, so excited to be here and look forward to sharing a little bit more later. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep, thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen out here, and we'll go through everything as far as the process here, as far as what we're looking for to help you roll out the CONNEX platform and getting used to it and understanding it so you can better utilize it. The CONNEX program came about kind of like Ray and Alan talked about. We're all aware of our supply chain issues that we see, fragmented capabilities, reliance on suppliers from far away, unaware of opportunities and resources in adjacent industries, the need to share information and capabilities and expertise with other manufacturers. CONNEX kind of brings about this. There's many reports and studies. We live it every day as manufacturers and understand this, but we're seeing as we start surveying manufacturers nationwide that there's this large need for this type of program that CONNEX is going to bring to invest in our supply chains, to become more agile, to become more resilient, to automate some of these processes and things like that. And so this is where CONNEX can definitely fit in and help with those areas. Missouri CONNEX we're the 4th state to roll this out. The other 3 states are Utah, Florida, and Oklahoma. Oklahoma earlier this year rolled theirs out, and we're very happy their support with us and helping us do this. But we want to roll this out in Missouri and really push this to manufacturers. It's free for all Missouri manufacturers. So there's two parts of the CONNEX program. There's the Missouri CONNEX program, and then there's the manufacturers marketplace, or you also might hear it called CONNEX Marketplace. And what we're asking is Missouri manufacturers to find us to register for an account, and it's free for all manufacturers. It's a statewide manufacturing supply chain database, and it's able to access new suppliers and buyers through CONNEX, but it also links up to this NAMS manufacturing marketplace, CONNEX Marketplace. There's access available to the national database. It's free for a lifetime membership. And so we were looking for you to enroll if you do that within the first 60 days of our launch here on September 1st. So you get that free lifetime membership. So it's really important not only to connect to the CONNEX Marketplace, but also to, once you are enrolled, to expand your search and put an account in for that free membership to actually increase your search outside of the Missouri borders, not just in Missouri, but also outside the Missouri borders. So what it does, it's going to streamline critical connection between manufacturers, allowing manufacturers to better connect with each other, to be discovered, and increase business opportunities, and also provide information about a broad range of Missouri manufacturers. So you can actually update your profile with detailed information, search functions. You can add capability statements, your certifications, equipment, material, and types. All of these different aspects you can add to your profile. And the more manufacturers that add to their profiles, it allows it to increase the search and flexibility of being able to find other manufacturers, and then also to find you as well. There's a supply chain feature that you can also utilize, and the more manufacturers are putting in there, the more options you'll have for searching other manufacturers for that supply chain. What we're asking you to do is to request an account, to request access. I think many of you have, maybe I've already done that, but if you're watching this later on a recording, go out and request that access. Once your access is approved based on your that you're a qualified manufacturer, you'll be able to link to it to access the CONNEX Missouri and update manufacturing your profile. So I'll just kind of show you real quick, and Alan will go over this as well. But what I'm talking about, you can go to our website and you can go to MissouriEnterprise.org, and you can request for a CONNEX account, and then you will get taken to this page here where you can actually input your information, your first name, last name, email, and all your organization information. At that point, you will be, we will receive that application, and we will work to get that filled and your application submitted, and you'll have access to the account at that point. And then once you have that access, you can update your profile and put in your information, update key contacts, key people, capability statements, industry sector certifications. So going back into the database, once you connected, you'll be able to, this is once you're logged in, this is me logged in as under Missouri Enterprise. But I can go over to my login here, and I go down to my organization, and this shows my public information where I can update this information. There's also members only information, and then the confidential information, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But this is where we'd actually ask you to update your information, and you can do many different options as far as this. And Alan's going to talk about this a little bit later, but this is kind of get you started about where you can add your organization and get it once you get access to it. So And then upgrade, we want you to go for that upgrade for free for life for the CONNEX Marketplace. So again, back to the, you can go to the Exchange Center, or you can actually do any search. Let's search for metal here. And you would select expand to the national marketplace. And we have some flyers that we're going to send out to you if you need some more information on that. But you would click on that, and it's going to take you directly to the national marketplace where you can get a login for that. So we'll help you along those lines as you're working through that and everything. So those are kind of the main things we want you to take from this today, is just kind of getting access to it and upgrading it as far as that goes. The Exchange Center, once you're in there, we're going to talk a little about this a little bit more. Again, things you can do. There's the surplus where you can post surplus of supplies that you have. You can look up surplus options. You can also look for needs. We have a supplier scouting program through the NIST program, which Ned mentioned. The supplier scouting is where companies across the United States will post needs that they have, and the NIST program will send those out to manufacturers throughout the states and to MEP centers, and then we send them out to manufacturers. Currently, how we are doing this is we're actually finding those needs and just thinking of companies that we thought would be, have some use in that area. But now we can actually send this out to anyone that's in CONNEX really quickly, immediately, once we can add the supplier scouting connection, the need in there, and then you can get add a response to that, and we can get that sent back to NIST, and that gets back to the company, and then we can help make that connection for you guys. And that's how it is, not just for our supplier scouting program. That's going to be how it is for prime organizations, for larger companies, for medium-sized companies, or even your company. However, if you have a need, you can post it on there, and that's how that is going to work. There's the visualization of the supply chain as you work to update your confidential information on your profile. You could add the suppliers that you have on there, and Alan's going to talk more about this, but you can minimize it down to find out where you have some needs, some risks within your supply chain, if it's a one supplier supply or financial risk or anything along those lines. So the supply chain feature is something that really would think you would find advantage within the CONNEX program as well. Something that, when you think about CONNEX, it's not just a database, it's something that you can use to help you increase your thought process on where you're getting your things from as well. So again, we're talking about the different areas within the CONNEX program. There's the public information, there's the members only information, there's the confidential information. The public information is available to anyone kind of going to the CONNEX database and seeing that information. The members only is for members within the manufacturing sector. You can add key people, certifications, and all these things within these areas, depending on where you feel like you'd want to have them. And then the confidential information is where you'd actually add that supply chain information. So just some quick success stories. We've had some large primes within Utah. Alan's going to talk about this probably a little bit better than myself, but Northrop Grumman was looking for a certain type of lathe process, machining process within their organization. They were able to add a need within that exchange center, and they were having trouble filling this particular need, and they sent this out to the CONNEX database, and they had an overwhelming response to it. They had over 20 companies, I think, at this point respond to it, maybe more than that now. And they are making connections with those organizations. And on the flip side, those organizations that made those connections were saying they were trying to connect with Northrop Grumman for years, and were able to make those connections, within weeks and in months, even, or months within even weeks, and make that connection and get those contracts worked out and signed. So, and it's just story after story as far as these connections that once the exchange center and things like that these companies are seeing has been very beneficial. Finding local and regional manufacturers, we have that process where it's far away, or even overseas, you're getting your stuff, and we've seen that difficulties with the COVID epidemic and now the workforce issues and things like that. To be able to find some local and regional manufacturers has been very beneficial for these manufacturers. So and also expanding manufacturing processes and partners. As you see a need that is processed or kind of in the needs in the exchange center, manufacturers are able to say, hey, we don't necessarily make that right now, but we have the tools and equipment and processes to do this, and let's expand our processes and expand our manufacturing production sites and go into those areas. So they're seeing companies kind of expand in that regard too. Our CONNEX to manufacturers, again, we were partnering with the Missouri Connect Development Corporation, by the Lieutenant Governor's Office in By Missouri, and also AIM, like Race. So that's our core partners, and we have some regional associations we've networked with, trying to get this word out. We want to work to identify top manufacturers, but we also want to reach out to all of you and help us to partner and work to grow CONNEX, because the more people we have on CONNEX, the better it's going to be. So we really want to work to push that. So I'm going to turn it over now to Alan. I'm going to stop my sharing here. Hold on one second. And have him kind of go through a little bit more of the database so you have a little bit better idea. Again, please, I say there's a chat question there. Yeah, Ray put in, if you have any questions, definitely please let us know, interrupt us. And I'm going to turn over to Alan, because he'll probably further that point for myself.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Jeff. Yes, definitely. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Oops, I'm on the wrong screen right now, so I'll share that the right screen here in just a moment. There we go. And if you do have any questions at all, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Open up your mic and ask. We really want this next portion to be very informal and informative. So I'll try to answer any questions we can, and I'll walk you through a little bit more of what Jeff has been talking about to give you hopefully a head start on using CONNEX and how to get the most out of it and where you'll see the greatest value. As Jeff mentioned, the easiest way to get there is really to go to Missouri Enterprise. You notice the CONNEX link here now on the website. And as you click on that, you are taken to the links here that Jeff showed you for registering and also for accessing. So if you want to just bookmark that, you can come to the Missouri Enterprise site and get access to the system that way. The next part of it is once you log in, so if you've requested access, you'll get an email with information on how to get logged in. Once you get logged in, you'll come to a screen that looks just like this. You'll notice you're in CONNEX Missouri. There are certain visualizations. Today, we're only going to talk about the supply chain portion of this. Workforce and R&D are areas in the application that will come along later. But today, we're launching just the the supply chain portion of it. Really, the first thing that I'll draw your attention to is what Jeff was talking about earlier around searching. So if you have any kind of a need to find a manufacturer, the search function is actually a fairly simple search. I'm actually going to just broaden this a little bit. You can come and type any word, any keyword you'd like, and looks like I've been logged out because the security features of the system will log me out very quickly. And I logged in a few minutes before we started this. So I'm going to log back in so I can show you this. There we go. And we'll try that search one more time. It's kind of like we all tend to be a little bit spoiled by search engines where we just have a single search bar and we're able to type in any keyword we want and have relevant results returned. You notice they come back very quickly, and it'll give a little bit of an understanding to you about the relevance of the results that have come up in your search by telling you where those search terms were found. In this case, they were found in a description field, an AICS code field, an SIC code field, and in a name. In addition to the descriptions here and the listing, you also have the opportunity to be able to filter down your list. So again, much like applications that we all use on a regular basis, kind of like Amazon, where you have a list of filter options along the side. Those filter options along your right-hand side in the application. And the filters are actually built dynamically as the search is run, which basically means only the keywords that are found within the search results are used to build the filters. So in this case, you could filter down by city and by zip, by county. So those are some geographic type filters. There's also by type, by sector, by certification, by SBA program, equipment, materials, NAICS codes, SIC codes. So there's a lot of different ways in which you can filter down the results. Now that also gives you some key information as to why it's so important to make sure that your profile information is accurate and up to date, so that number one, you show up in these search results, but number two, as they filter down, that the keywords that you use in your profile are found also to be used in the filtering. The other way that you can limit your results is also by distance. And so you can limit by distance from your facility or from a specific location if you wanted to type in a specific location, and you can designate the number of miles from your location or from that location that you put in that you want to narrow those search results to. As you come into a profile, and I'll just click on one here, you'll notice that there are 3 tiers of data, and Jeff talked about those 3 tiers. In the public tier of data, this is information that typically you would find maybe on your website, right? It's fairly basic information about your company. Important to add a contact there if you want people to be able to reach out to someone within your organization and ensure that they're going to get to the person that you want them to through the front door, not through the back. And so this allows people to be able to search and to find your main contact information. You can have a key person there if you'd like. Also, you can upload a capability statement. And I'll show you a little bit what a capability statement is like and why that's important here in just a moment. And we'll do an additional training just on how to build capability statements and how to upload them and get the most out of them at a later date. But I'll just touch on a little bit today. Before I do that, though, the other areas here within the public area of data are certifications and qualifications. Again, these SBA programs are really important. If you have an SBA program, if you're a small business, a woman-owned, veteran-owned, minority-owned, hub-zone business, any of those SBA designations, those are really important key pieces of information to put in, because many of the larger organizations who are searching within the application are specifically looking for those designations. The same thing with certifications, AS 9100, ISO, those types of certifications are searches that we see run most often in the system. People are looking for suppliers who have those types of certifications, as well as your NAICS and SIC codes. Again, those are key fields that people use typically to search and find you. To show you what a capability statement is like, I'm actually going to jump over to a different instance here, and I'll just show you a profile of a company who has uploaded a capability statement. So this capability statement here, you'll notice there's a description of the capability statement. And when I click on it, it actually opens that uploaded, in this case, a PDF document. And the great thing about uploading a capability statement is the minute you do that, it's indexed in the system, and which means any keyword that's found in that capability statement will cause your profile to come up in the search results, because the keyword was actually found somewhere within the document. So it goes through and indexes every word in the document. So if it's found in your document that you've uploaded, then you'll be found in the search results. So it's a great way to include keywords that maybe there's not a place in the database in the structured data area for you to add, but it's a key capability or keyword that you think is important that other people will use to search and find you and find your capabilities. Again, capability statement can be multiple pages. They can be a single page. You can add multiple capability statements to your profile if you would like. If you have certain capabilities you want to highlight in different documents, it's another way of being able to do that. I want to touch just a minute on the member-only data and see if I can give you a little bit more insight as to how to get the best out of the member-only information. So the public information can be searched really by just about anyone. The member-only data, however, is only searchable by members within the system. So this is information that you want to be seen and found by other manufacturers, but not by the general public or anyone else. So in this case, this is where your industry sectors, your key people, products and services are uploaded. Again, you could put a capability statement here instead of on the public side if you had a capability statement that you only wanted to be seen by other manufacturers. the materials that you use and distribute, the equipment and processes that you have within your organization. Again, we're getting heavy into the capabilities now, and this is really important because particularly during the pandemic, everyone was kind of looking for manufacturers' capabilities, right? They wanted to know, do you have the ability to be able to produce certain things? So it's really important. There's also a place to add detail into the equipment, and I'll see if I can touch on that sometime today as well, if we have a chance to get that far. In the final pieces of data there in the member-only area are the employees and capacity and production floor space. This really helps others to be able to get a feel for your the size of your organization and the overall capability you might have that way. The confidential tier of data, you'll notice, is all obscured. The reason is that data is only visible to your company. No one else is able to see the confidential tier of data for your organization. That's only people within your organization that you give access to view the confidential information. The reason is because it contains proprietary information. It's important to you, and it allows you to be able to visualize your supply chain. And I'll show you what that's like. Jeff showed you a quick picture of it earlier, but I'll show you what that's like and why that's important and why it provides a tremendous amount of value to you. Before I do that, though, I just want to come and show you how you update this information. So you can click on, you may have noticed all these blue buttons along the right-hand side as we've been going down through, and you can click on any of these at any time, and it'll take you to the edit portion of the application where you can edit your data. So in here, and I clicked on the materials portion of it, and so you'll see it's really easy, just some check boxes where you can come through and check the materials that you use, produce, or distribute. And you can indicate how you use, or whether you use, produce, or distribute each of those materials as you go down through. Also, here on the left-hand side, you'll notice I can expand out the different sections of data entry. And you'll see we're in the material section right now, so I can jump to any area of the profile, and it'll just pull up that area and it'll show me the where to add the information that I need in order to completely fill out my profile. Typically, it'll take a manufacturer somewhere between 15 minutes to maybe 45 minutes to add in their information here. The one area that tends to take the most amount of time is if you have a lot of equipment, is to come in and add the detail around that equipment. However, that is really a very valuable piece of information to put in. I just clicked on the first item here, which is an autoclave, to show you that there's additional detail you can add. And that's important because if someone's looking, for example, for companies who have a specific size or diameter of an autoclave or some other detail about a piece of equipment, this is where that information is stored and what would cause you to come up in those search results. Again, there's a place for other equipments, other tools. So if you don't find it on the list here, you can add it in the other section. All those sections are here and easily accessible, and it's relatively quick to kind of go down through and add all that information to your profile. So I want to come back really quick, actually. And oh, one thing I forgot to go back through. So that confidential tier of data, to give you a feel for what's there, I'm going to come back to the image that Jeff showed you earlier. This is actually a visual representation. It's called supply chain visualization. It's under your visualization link and supply chain here. When you come in, what it shows is your company here in blue. And then you'll notice from the legend in the bottom right that customers are in yellow, typically on the right, suppliers in green on the left. Now you can move this all around. You can arrange it in different ways so that you can really start to create visualizations. You can go in and you can filter it down to just those organizations that are in state or out of state, or just see your customers or just see your suppliers. The reason you have all that functionality is so you can really start to take a look at your supply chain in a graphical way and be able to see if there are any issues or problems. And to assist you with that, we've been working with the Air Force for a number of years now on their top 9 areas of risk in the supply chain, and coming up with ways to help reduce and eliminate that risk out of the supply chain. So behind the scenes, the application is actually identifying potential risk in your supply chain and flagging it for you. So you'll notice some of these are flagged in red. If they're flagged in red, what that means is there happens to be a potential problem in your supply chain. And I'll show you what some of those potential problems might be. So I click on this first one. It says that there is a blacklist alert. So we're connected to the top 12 government watch lists and blacklists. That's across Commerce, Treasury, State, DoD lists. So that we're identifying for you on your behalf if you happen to have someone in your supply chain who has shown up on a government watch list or blacklist for any reason. If that is the case, you can click on the link there and it will tell you a little bit more about the alert. It'll also tell you which list it matched to. In this case, it's the SDN list from the Treasury Department. It'll give you links directly to the Treasury, in this case, the Treasury Department website, give you aliases that company uses and addresses that they operate under, so that you can very quickly assess if you might have an issue with a manufacturer in your supply chain who has shown up on a government watch list or blacklist for some reason. Now, this has been really, really helpful at being able to give additional visibility into supply chain issues that you might not otherwise think about or otherwise know about without some sort of detection system in place. In addition to that, there's this one happens to have a single supplier risk that's been detected. So it shows that this is a single supplier for you. And it'll allow you to kind of assess and evaluate what some of these risks are. It also will help you with relationship risk, financial risk, and we're working on adding all 9 of the areas that the Air Force has identified. If you do determine that you have an issue with a supplier and you want to find an alternate supplier, the best or one of the tools that will help you with that is this Find Alternate button that you see down here in the bottom left. When I click on that, it'll come up and give me a list of suppliers, potential alternate suppliers, the distance they are from my facility. It'll give me links directly to their profile pages so I can go look at their profile and determine if they might be a good fit. I can also filter down this list. So if it does give you a large list, you can filter it down by a number of different criteria, even distance here, to allow you to look at a very abbreviated list that allows you to find exactly the kind of supplier you might need to supplement for your supply chain. So I'm going to jump back off of this over there, but I'm going to pause before I cover anything else. I do want to get to the Exchange Center today, but I want to make sure that we're giving plenty of time for questions. So are there any questions, Jeff, that we can answer now before I jump into Exchange Center?
No, we had a few in the chat. Josh H just asked, how did you access the supplier tree? So if you want to go back over that again.
Yes. Okay, so just here under visualizations, I apologize, I jumped over to a demo account so I could show you the visualization because I can't show it on an existing company because I don't have access to it. But the supply chain link right here under visualizations is how you get to that supply chain visualization piece. When you first go in there for your profile, it won't show anything until you actually upload your data for it. So you'll be uploading your data and then that way you'll see your visualization and the system will immediately begin to work to identify some of those risk assessment areas for you, and you'll see flags showing up in your system. Right. Are there others there that I can answer before we go into Exchange Center?
No.
Okay.
Just further on that, I guess if they wanted to upload any suppliers, they can. There's several ways that they can do that, and we can talk about more about that later. But if you have a long list of suppliers, you can upload them through an Excel sheet. You can add them if they're based in Missouri, and so there's ways to do that within your profile. So we can help you with that too.
Yeah, and your supply chain is going to contain manufacturers who are in Missouri, out of Missouri, and sometimes out of the country, and it will accept all of those in your supply chain visualization. So you can visualize your entire supply chain. We will do a future training on that so that we can provide all kinds of detail on how to get the most out of it. So.
And I just wanted to point out real quick, one of the things that you said, Alan, and I think I've heard from manufacturers is the most important thing, is this system looks at your capabilities. So that's what sets it apart from other search engines, is the fact that you can go in as a company and put what your capabilities are. There may be things that you do as part of your processes that you aren't using full capacity on a machine, for example. And you can put those capabilities out there and maybe pick up more business that otherwise you never would have known about because you're not in that type of manufacturing, for example. So that's a really key part of this system and one of the biggest advantages. And I know we're having to hit everything quickly, but that's one of the things I've heard from people is one of the most attractive.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Appreciate that.
Alan, we did have one other question from Jill. She asked, does
Yeah.
the risk assessment also cover customers?
Yes. Yeah, it'll do your customers and your suppliers. So anyone you upload into your supply chain, it will automatically. And in fact, 11 of those 12 lists are up to the second in terms of updating from the government list. So it will identify for you within a matter of seconds if you happen to have an issue there. The 12th one is within 15 seconds. So they asked us not to pull it down quite as often. So we only pull it every 15 seconds, but it literally within a minute, you will know if you have an issue in your supply chain with a government watch list or blacklist company. And some of those, occasionally you may get a false positive on that. And that's a very real possibility where it links to, and I'll give you a quick anecdotal experience on that. When we first started the initial system in Utah, someone had put in there that they did work for the Navy, but they didn't indicate which Navy. And so it matched to one of the government blacklists for the, I can't remember, it's Iraq or Iran Navy or something like that. So yeah, you do need to be a little bit specific about saying which Navy you're working for, the US Navy. So those kinds of things may happen, and you'll kind of sort through those and realize, oh yes, I do need to make sure that this one is a false positive because I didn't put the additional information in. So, okay. Well, the Exchange Center is another area that I'm super excited to share with you because I think this is one of the areas where there's a tremendous amount of value for our small, medium-sized businesses in particular, as well as the large. It really benefits everyone, but I'll try to cover more from the perspective of the small and medium-sized business than from the large. So typically it's the large manufacturers who are posting RFPs, RFQs, RFIs. However, if you are looking for anything in from another manufacturer, this is the place you want to go list it. And the reason is because it just gives you the ability to be able to notify a tremendous number of manufacturers very, very quickly. And I'll focus on the needs area. There is opportunity here for surplus as well. So if you have surplus materials, it's a great place to post it. You can offer it for free or for cost, however you would like to list it. It's a great place to be able to exchange that. And we'll do a deeper dive training on some of these things on another day. In the needs area as well. So Jeff mentioned earlier that they have a number of opportunities from supplier scouting that are already listed in here. And so I encourage you to come in and take a look at it. If you actually are qualified to provide something that is here, when you come in, there will be a button down here. It won't show up for me because I don't have the correct rights, but for you, there will be a button down here that says respond. And you can actually respond to this post and indicate that you have the capabilities to deliver what's being asked for here. And that's really great because as the opportunities come in, it gives you a direct link to the buyer who is posting the opportunity, or in this case, to Missouri Enterprise, who is looking on behalf of that buyer. So great way to be able to find things and find opportunities for your company, as well as to post needs that you have and find people who can help you with it. I'm going to come to the edit for just a moment on this because I do want to show you one feature that I think will be very valuable. As you create a post like this, you can come in and create a distribution list. So let's say you only wanted to notify companies who had a specific SBA designation. Maybe, you know, I just want to find a veteran-owned company, or maybe only a company who has or works with a specific material, or maybe a specific NAICS code, SIC code. Any of the opportunities that you see here, you can limit and indicate who you want to notify, and that creates a distribution list for you. And when you create that distribution list, the system will automatically go out and both identify and notify companies who match that criteria. So I noticed Jeff has not yet put in the notifications for this one. So Jeff, I'm going to encourage you to go fill that out, and the system will automatically begin to notify. But what that does is it really highlights, again, how important it is that you update your profile, because the system is looking for a match. And if your data is accurate and in there and up to date, it's going to match to your profile and it's going to notify you about the opportunity. If your information is not in there, then it has no information to match with, and so it won't notify you about the opportunity. So again, it's a really great way of being able to be notified and find out about those opportunities as they're coming in by making sure that all your data and information is current and up to date there. It'll also keep track of the history of how many organizations, how many people have been notified. It won't duplicate the notification. So once that notification's gone out, you can come in and create criteria again and hit send, and it's not going to send it to the same organizations a second time. So that's a little bit of a fail safe in there to make sure that we're not sending out too many notifications about a single opportunity. It's just one notification for each opportunity that your organization will receive. Now, you can have multiple people set up within the system, and you can always come over. There's some admin tools here where you can add users. And as you add those users, you can indicate whether or not they'll receive Exchange Center notifications. And that then allows you to be able to be notified if there is, or multiple people be notified if there's an opportunity that matches to your organization.
There was a question on that, Alan.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
How does the distribution list affect a supplier, a surplus listing? Am I limited on who gets notice of our surplus stock by using it? I don't know, Rob,
yes.
if you can.
Yeah, so notification on surplus works much the same as a notification on an Exchange Center post. I apologize, I'm having to plug my computer in. I just realized my battery was about to die. There we go. And that would be a bad thing during a demo, right? So yeah, so the notification works much the same. So as you come in and create a surplus listing, and I'll just come into this one really quick, again on the edit. And it's always great if you can add some sort of an image in there and you can show what you have or what you're offering. As you come in, you again will see the distribution list options, and you create that distribution list and you can kind of specify then who gets notified about it. You'll notice in here a place for a price if you want to put a price in, or it can also be free. So there's some options here, some free, TBD. So if you want to discuss it and not necessarily list the price, you can also do that as well. Okay, that answered the question? Okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to focus on one other thing here before we wrap up today, which is super important for everyone, particularly in the next 2 months. So this is an opportunity that everyone has that will only be available for 2 months. So please, I'm telling you, take advantage of it because it is a great value to you. And that is, you can get free forever access to national searching. So national searching typically costs $500 a year to be able to search across the entire database. You can get that free forever if you'll come in and click this expand search to the national marketplace button. It'll take you through a registration page where it'll have you fill out some information, but it'll have a promotion code in there which provides it free forever for you. Now, if you have any problems with that at all, you just simply contact us and we'll help you with that and make sure that you have all the help you need. There's a little question mark right here next to the search bar. If you have any problems at all, you can always come here and get help this way by contacting support. You can always reach out to Jeff, and Jeff is there to help you with those kind of issues as well. But make sure that you come in and click that expand search national marketplace and secure your free forever access to the national search capabilities of the platform. I'm going to show you what that looks like, just so as you take advantage of that, you can see. And there's a couple of things I can show you here in the national marketplace that will be of some value as well. So you'll notice as I come in here, first off, there's I did a very generic search. So there's well over 10,000 hits. There are over 130,000 US manufacturers in the national marketplace. We encourage you also to come and take a look at your profile here and update your profile in the national marketplace as well. Some of that data will likely sync over, but it's not 100% yet. There's an upcoming release that's coming out scheduled for November, where it will actually get all that syncing and make sure that all your data is exactly the same at the state level and at the national level. But for the next couple of months, at least, you'll want to make sure that you come and look at your profile in the national marketplace and make sure it's updated here as well. And I'll just show you quickly what the profile looks like here. The look and feel is a little bit different in the national marketplace. Again, that will, with the update coming out in November, it will unify that. So the look and feel will be the same between the two. But for the time being, there is a little bit of a difference. The filtering works much the same, by the way. The filter option is here in top right instead of over on the right-hand side as it is in CONNEX. But those filters, you'll notice, look very much the same here as they do over in the CONNEX platform. So the other thing that I will draw your attention to really quick is when you click on a profile here, you get a quick view of the profile, and it'll show you just a quick view of the company, some of their products, some of their processes, some of their certifications. If you click to go into their full profile, then, and I'm going to collapse all the sections, you'll see all these areas of data that are being collected at the national level, and all of the data is searchable. So anything that's typed into the search bar here, if it's found anywhere in your profile, then it'll cause your company name to come up in the search results. Again, you can add all kinds of additional data in here. So you can add attachments, images, in this case, of some of your products and things like that. So there's a lot of really great information. It's very helpful when someone's looking for your capabilities. If you've done a good job adding data in, there's a really good chance they're going to be reaching out to you because they can see those capabilities. And to help you see how some of that works, I'm going to come into the Exchange Center just briefly. And this will be the last thing that I show today. And hopefully we'll spend the rest of the time just answering remaining questions. These are live posts. This happens to be a Northrop Grumman post, and over the next few weeks, we'll begin replicating some of these posts down into the Missouri Exchange Center as well. So you'll start to see some of these showing up in the Missouri Exchange Center. So again, another reason to make sure your profile is accurate and up to date, so that you'll get notified as we put these into the Missouri Exchange Center. But right here, I'm going to use this Northrop Grumman post as an example. This is one Jeff was referencing earlier. They were very specific about what they're looking for: a machine shop with a vertical turning lathe that can mill parts 30 to 80 inches in diameter, who could also do internal welding in the shop. And by the way, if you have these capabilities, we encourage you to get out there and respond right away, because this opportunity is closing here in the next few weeks. There are more coming, but this particular one is going to close. But it gets you an interview directly with the Northrop Grumman buyers who are sourcing. So in here, you'll see the restrictions. So for example, on this one, you have to have an AS9100 certification, JCP and ITAR are required, CMMC, DFAR, and FAR. But you'll see as I click on view responses here, the responses from all across the country. So another great thing about being able to participate in here now is you'll get notified about these opportunities and also be included as the posts are put in there. And your company, if you match the criteria, will also begin to show up for these opportunities that are in the National Exchange Center, in addition to the Missouri Exchange Center. So I'm going to stop there and just ask what additional questions we can answer in the remaining time that we have.
Please feel free to unmute yourself if you do have questions.
Yeah, this is Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, just confirming, I know the Exchange Center is only for those that are registered, but if you go out and do a search, will that go for a supplier? Will that search all the 140,000 or so that are in the directory, or will it only search the ones that register?
Yeah, it'll search everyone. Yeah, so those searches are going across all records in the database, whether that's at the state level or at the national level. When you perform a search, it actually goes across every single record in the database.
Thank you.
You bet. I apologize. I only have one screen in front of me today, and I normally have two or three, so I'm normally able to look at the chat as we go through it. I haven't been able to do that today, so I'm flying a little bit blind. So if you put a comment or a question in the chat, if you will, just unmute and share that with us as well, or ask the question. Happy to answer them that way.
No, I think we got most of them that I saw in the chat, Alan. So I do want to say, I do want to reshare my screen, just to kind of,
there we go.
Just to share out some events, like upcoming more events that we have. So we're going to have more trainings available, the live exchange demo. So we're going to go further in depth on the exchange demo. Alan will be back with us again on September 22nd. And then on October 21st, there's another demo that we're going to do about the supply chain visualization. It's also going to include a little bit on the search too. I talked to Jeremiah from Alan's company, and he suggested throwing the search on that as well. So, so definitely go to our events page like you registered for this event, and tell other manufacturers, and you can get some more information on how to really utilize the platform. I5 Services also has trainings. They're trying to do a monthly. So they're going to have these different areas as well. And so if you have, I'm going to be sending out emails on those. You'll see some of them from me as those approach. We're doing these for Missouri Enterprise, and then I5 Services has them for nationwide training. So, but we also have a, so that's kind of everything. We also have a quick survey I'm going to put in the chat, but also please, if you have any more questions, I think there was one more question in the chat. So let me get that one for us, Alan, real quick. Let me stop my share here. I lost the chat here. So just to verify, will a lifetime free lifetime national search apply to all users on the account, including those added in the future? Yes. Yeah, so it applies to the account, and then any user within that account will be able to have access to that free lifetime membership. And yes, this will be recorded. So if we're going to put it on, post it to YouTube as well. There is a survey in the chat now. If you guys could fill that out. Is there any other questions though at all? We've got Alan on and for Ray or myself. I know there was some questions earlier about getting access to the database. I'm going to follow up with you, Marshall, on that. So now this.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, will you be sending us I think Haviland there wanted to know, not only will it be recorded, but how will they get it? Are you going to send a link to everybody that participated, or send it through us, or what?
Yeah, we're gonna get the recorded downloaded, and then we're gonna upload it to YouTube, and we can also send it out on email too for everyone as well. So
yeah, thanks.
Couple minutes early. I don't think there's any more questions. Thank you for everything, and appreciate everyone's assistance today and participation and joining us today. Look for more events on how to utilize the tool, and appreciate your time today. Thank you very much, everyone.